What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have a lot of big news to cover in today's video and some great setups for this week. Make sure you guys stick around to the end of today's video. We have a lot of great info to cover. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe and let us know what stocks you are watching in the comments down below, and we will probably cover them in tomorrow's video. But Tom, what major news do we have for this week?
Yeah, there's actually some huge news coming out of the Bitcoin market, Mike. And, Bitcoin's been kind of pulling back, ever hitting that all-time high around $70,000 last week. And you can see that pullback around Wednesday to Thursday was pretty drastic. It ended up coming back pretty hard. But apparently there's actually been the first Bitcoin upgrade in about 4 years. CNBC announces that it just went live, and it's a very rare moment for the consensus among stakeholders. It's a big deal for the world's most popular cryptocurrency, of course. But it's called the Taproot update. It means that there's going to be greater transaction privacy and efficiency, and crucially, it will unlock the potential for smart contracts, which can be used to eliminate the middleman from transactions, which is a pretty nice thing to hear, at least in the end. Hopefully, it makes Bitcoin have a nice bounce. We can see Bitcoin had a low around 62,385 down here, and then we had some nice volume come in, and the futures at least popped right back up. I'm sure Bitcoin itself is popping up as well, and maybe that Bitcoin ETF will start moving this week.
There we go. So Bitcoin and just the cryptos in general have been on a pretty strong uptrend. So I'm excited to see how they do for this week. I guess you could say look at MARA or even Riot for this week. If we do see a big move with Bitcoin, these can pop off, but I would just way rather just trade Bitcoin directly.
Yeah, I would too. It's going to be a lot safer. And whenever you look at some of these stuff like Mara and Riot, they can definitely get big moves. And it looks like Riot's actually starting to break out of like that $40 resistance. It actually looks pretty good here on the daily chart.
Awesome. There we go. And then, Tom, we can't forget about these huge earnings for this week. I know we have a lot of big ones.
Yeah, there's huge ones. We actually have NVIDIA on Wednesday. I know that stock has been amazing. Everyone's been talking about NVIDIA lately and all their technology, and their stock has been on fire. Target's also reporting Wednesday along with Baidu and Lowe's. I think Wednesday is probably going to be the biggest day to me. Tuesday is also pretty big. We have Walmart, Home Depot. On Monday, we have Lucid and Tyson. Most of them are going to be bigger, I should say bigger retail plays this week. We have Kohl's, we have Macy's, different stocks like that. But we do have NVIDIA on Wednesday. That one's going to be my big watcher. I know Alibaba is going to be very interesting on Thursday with all the China stuff going on too.
No doubt. I'm definitely watching Wednesday and Thursday for Alibaba, Baidu, and then JD.com. The China stocks have actually been trending in a pretty good way lately. So, if we see some big news from earnings, that could just really accelerate the uptrend. And, speaking of stocks like Alibaba, how's the chart looking?
It's actually looking pretty good. They did have a little bit of a pullback on Friday in the morning, but it actually recovered up at the end of the day very nicely. And I will tell you, these stocks are really holding their ground. Even on days that they fall, they end up recovering. Like last week, we could see Baba fell here and recovered drastically. They fell in the middle of the day on Wednesday as well and ended up popping back up, which was awesome. So in the end, these stocks are moving pretty good. Let's go see JD. Yeah, it looks like JD is actually more of on an uptrend than Baba. They're actually starting to really break out and starting to move up there quite a bit. We can see that Baba is still down here at the bottom, but in the end, I feel like a lot of these stocks have lots of room to recover back up, especially in Baba's case. Man, everyone was talking about how crazy it was whenever they fell below that $200 support. I would not be surprised if we came back up and at least retested that over the next 6 months to a year.
Yeah, and if you're just looking to try and buy the dip with some of these China stocks, of course you can look at Baba, Baidu, maybe JD and things like that. But I would also really encourage you to look at ETFs like QUEB, like Tom has pulled up, or even FXI. These are two pretty liquid China ETFs, and when we see stocks like Baba, Baidu, or JD move up, a lot of times these ETFs do explode.
Yeah, they really do. And FXI looks like it's in a pretty good setup. It's been bouncing off support down there around $38 quite a bit. And I think it looks like it's on the uptrend here as of right now. It actually gapped up last week. And I will say, if we go to the 5-minute chart, it has a lot of strength. If we're able to break that 4160 high, I feel like these China stocks could definitely keep going. And, sometimes these ETFs have been gapping up a lot lately. It would be awesome to see it break this 42, 43 resistance with a nice gap.
Sounds good. So, Tom, I know Tesla has been It's had a lot of coverage lately. What's going on with Elon? Is there any any other news or like any chart updates or anything with this one?
Nothing too crazy as of right now, but news did come out that said that Elon Musk ended up selling a total amount of $6.9 billion worth of Tesla stock last week. I know that in the middle of the week last week, there were reports coming out that he sold 5 billion and then 1 billion. It looks like the total came down to 6.9 billion. So that's awesome to see. I mean, I guess it's not awesome. It depends on who you are, but in the end, it's good for Elon. It's definitely hurting Tesla's stock, which is not good to see though. So as we're looking at this, Tesla's been on a huge uptrend lately. Elon and his brother started selling massive amounts of shares up here at the top, and now Tesla's starting to tank off. I'll be honest, with this news coming out, I could see Tesla continuing to fall. There is a little bit of support here, right around $1,000 even, being the huge psychological level that it is. But, I really feel like that Elon accelerated this sell-off here, and I really feel like Tesla could keep going down. That's a lot of money, $6.9 billion in Tesla stock. Like, of course, we see Warren Buffett and some people start to unload shares every once in a while, but generally it's not that much worth.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a lot, no doubt. But then again, like there's so much money like traded on Tesla stock each day where it's not like jaw dropping, in my opinion. But something I did see is Elon Musk and like Bernie Sanders were actually beefing on Twitter a little while ago, and like there's even like rumors of Elon maybe selling more shares. So I don't know. Either way, Tesla's a powerhouse, and anytime you have news about I guess you could say Elon selling more shares, it's not like horrible news, but it's definitely not good news, and it normally does bring in some selling pressure.
Yeah, that's actually some pretty crazy news there with Bernie Sanders. And man, that's yeah, Tesla's definitely been a crazy stock. And like you said, it just brings in more selling pressure. Like whenever Elon and these bigger names announce this stuff, it just generally then some retail traders start following along, and then sometimes even algorithms get in whenever they see the stocks start going down and different stuff like that. So definitely a lot of stuff that can make it go down. But that's very interesting that he was beefing with Bernie Sanders there, Mike. That's going to definitely be an interesting read, and I can't wait to see what happens this week. I know that Elon Musk always gets into the political climate just a little bit.
Right? Oh gosh, you gotta follow his Twitter if you don't already. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it really is, man. And whenever you look at some of the stuff he tweets, sometimes it's mind blowing. Like I know, like with this stuff with Bernie Sanders, and even the stuff like last week, like how he came on Twitter and put out a poll that he would sell these shares of Tesla. Like that's insane. Like honestly, I voted on it, so I made a very small impact on him selling his shares. But hey, at least I got in on the vote.
Exactly. All right, well, let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. And with the first one, we have Facebook to the upside.
Yeah, Facebook's been having some huge moves with this metaverse news lately. Go ahead and make them break out above $342 even. I think that'll be a pretty big runner if we break that.
Sounds good. With the next one, we have Baidu also to the upside.
Yeah, go ahead and make Baidu break out above 172, and these China stocks are on fire.
All right, and then with the last one, we have Zoom.
Yep, Zoom. Hopefully they start recovering off this support right at $250. It actually looks pretty good here. Make them break out above 256 even. And if they do, like I said, that support looks like it's holding up pretty good. If we go to the daily chart, that could make for a nice swing.
Yep, so we are watching these 3 plays for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, but only if they break above the levels Tom listed. Now we have to shout out our member of the day, and that would be Manny. So huge shout out, Manny. Thanks for being a great member of the Discord. You always have some really positive things to say, so huge shout out to you. Tom and I really appreciate having you in the Stocked Up Discord group. And if you're not in the Stocked Up Discord group already, it's completely free. The link will be in the description down below. It should say like free Stocked Up Discord chat or something like that. You can join. It'll be completely free, and you can network with a bunch of other traders and get some free day trades. So definitely check it out. And let's get right into these comments from the previous video. With the first comment, we have Andrew mentioning PBW. He said, where do you guys see the clean energy sector heading? He has shares and he's thinking about just holding them. So I like the clean energy sector. I think it has a ton of room for growth over the next couple of years, and like even over like the next decade or so. I like TAN's holdings a little bit more than PBW, but their charts are pretty similar, so I don't think you go wrong with holding them. Tom, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. It's actually pretty similar to TAN, but like you said, I think TAN would be a little bit better. Looking at both of them, TAN starting to really break out here. If we could break up above $100 again, I think that can make for an awesome move. And with PBW, I feel like it's in the same type of scenario. If you could break like 96.50, I feel like this stock could start to get a pretty good move.
Awesome. Then we have Nick saying, what about Chargepoint? What do you guys think? So, Tom, Chargepoint and Blink have been on a pretty strong uptrend lately. So, I like them right now. Of course, they're a little bit risky, but I feel like if you get some shares or maybe some short put options, not buying put options, but short put options, I feel like that can be pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. They're talking about Biden possibly signing that infrastructure bill this week, and if that does happen, that could be pretty good for ChargePoint and Blink. It's definitely out of the headlines right now, but there still is that infrastructure news, and hopefully it sends up some of these EV or charging stocks. They're supposed to get funding in that bill, and I'll be honest, Blink looks pretty good. Like if we could start to see ChargePoint and maybe some of those other growth stocks start to explode up like Blink did on Friday, that would make for some awesome moves. But man, Blink exploded with their earnings, and I'm really watching them to continue up for next week. Also, I'm really looking at Lucid Motors. I think that's going to be a pretty big one considering we're talking about the EV stocks.
Awesome. And then we have Krishna saying, hey, Mike and Tom, what are your thoughts on MTCH? So MTCH, Tom, on the daily chart, I'm seeing like a huge channel on this one. I guess you can say support right around like 130 or 135, and then resistance. There's actually a lot of resistance on this one. There's of course a level right at 165, then 170, and then like even 175. So I just see it in the middle of like a huge channel right now. Personally, I could see it falling back down to maybe like 140 or so. What do you think?
Yeah, I honestly would not be too surprised either. And they've been on a huge uptrend this year. It's been looking really good, but in the short term, it definitely looks like it's falling back down. And I'm with you. It's definitely in the middle of a range there. And I even drew it out here. I created the support and the resistance, and it looks pretty solid.
Here we go. All right, and then we have Raymond saying, hey, Mike and Tom, what's your take on SMLR? SMLR. So let's take a look. Overall, it's been doing okay. This one isn't too liquid, actually. So, like, we can see lately it has, like, a couple 100,000 shares traded, which actually isn't that much. And, like, on some days, there's only, like, 3,000 shares traded. So, I normally don't trade illiquid stocks like this. They can be manipulated very easily, so I don't really trade them too much. There is a support right around like 110 and then another one right around 103, but again, it's hard to trade these illiquid stocks because there's not too many people in that market, you can say.
Yeah, definitely. And on the max weekly, it looks pretty good, but in the short term, it's starting to really tank off to the downside. Like Mike said, it's going to be hard to trade with that low volume anyways. It might be good for shares if you want to buy and hold it for the long term, if you really have done your research and you like their fundamentals and stuff. But in the end, I've never heard of this one, but I don't really know what they do. And it definitely looks like it's on a pretty bad downtrend as of right now, since it had that huge gap.
All right, so Tom, do you have any last minute stocks, options, or anything you're watching for the rest of the week?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be eyeing up Facebook. I know we talked about that one in our momentum plays, but in the end, I feel like Facebook could have a pretty big move if we break out above 342. They've had all that metaverse news lately, and they even dipped back down last week, which was, I thought, a very good entry point, at around that 325 support. So hopefully we start to see Facebook fly back up. I think that with all the news coming out, we will. And I'm also going to be eyeing up Tesla. Man, this news with Elon selling his shares is going to be huge. Obviously it's already affected the stock. I really hope that most traders just don't start completely selling out of their positions and stuff and keep accelerating the sell-off. Hopefully the sell-off stops soon and we see Tesla start to go back up.
Here we go. So if you're an options trader, definitely check out the first link in the comments and the description down below. Daily option swing trades, day trades, order flow bots, and a great community you'll have access to. Overall, it's a great program. On average, the day trade bot has each play pop for 29.4%, which is pretty awesome. If you guys want to try out the program, you will save around $40 off your first month. You can cancel at any time, and you'll get access to daily swing trades, day trades, and a great community. So definitely check it out. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments down below. Other than that, thanks for watching.